Probably, probably at a relatively young age. My father was the girls varsity basketball coach at Morse High School for 20 years. From the time I was born and, all the way up through I was in high school. My sister was in high school. So coaching's part of, I guess, part of my DNA, so to speak. And it's something that I've always been curious about. And I got into coaching with my father as his assistant, and everything kind of blossomed from there. That's a good question. I was very happy at the high school I was at. Poland Regional High School was an amazing experience for me. I had a tremendous athletic administrator who was very nurturing of me as a young coach. But it's always enticing when you leave from coaching 14 and 8, 17-year-old girls and having to deal with their parents to being able to pick your own team, by recruiting and things like that. So the recruiting aspect was very enticing for me. And, I lived in Auburn, and then the Central Maine community college job opened up, and it was 10 minutes from my house. And it was like, it just really seemed like a good fit, but I didn't think I was going to get the job. It was the first college job I had applied for. So I was like, I'll just go through the interview process and, and learn about the process so that I can get the next job. And I surprisingly was offered the job, and it's been my home ever since.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as coaching philosophy, I think it all starts first and foremost with recruiting and bringing in people and young adults into your program that you want to be a part of your expanded family, your extended family. So I think that has been a joy and a challenge at the same time, because you can come across players that can score 25, 30 points a game, but they're just not a good fit, socially or otherwise. So you got to look at all of that, and obviously it's all about building relationships with other coaches and things like that, but really building the relationship with the student athlete and their families through the recruiting process. And just being very transparent. We are extremely transparent in the recruiting process, to the point where it scares some recruits away. And that's okay, because we only want people to come to CM that want to be at CM and want to do it our way. And we're not made for everybody, good, bad, or ugly. We're not a perfect fit for everybody. And our job is to kind of sift through that and just bring in the best people that we can. And if they're great basketball players on top of it, it's a great luxury for us. So we don't have any student athletes on campus right now. We have players from all over the world, from New Zealand and Netherlands to Texas and Florida, just all over the place. So our school and our system, Maine Community College system, made the decision relatively early on that we weren't going to be having a fall and winter sports season. So while that was just crushing for us in some regards, it also, because they made the decision early, it allowed us to really plan and really just be upfront and honest. So we haven't brought students to our campus to play 4 games or to just practice or just to get random workouts in with masks on while they're still paying tuition and fees. We felt like that would have been extremely unfair to the student athlete. So as much as, selfishly we wanted them on campus so we could do those things, it just didn't pass the straight face test in our eyes and our administration's eyes. And I'm so glad we did it that way. I really, really am. As much as I miss seeing our players on campus and then popping into my office every day, it was the right thing to do. So that only left us with one choice, and that was really to start engaging as much as we could virtually. Although that's really the only way people can get together. And so like people are just zoomed out, like they don't want to zoom anymore and things like that. So we had to get pretty creative. We did a So You Think You Know Your Coach's game. We did some trivia. We did things like that. We've had alumni spotlights, have an alumni come in and address the team. And actually on Sunday, we have a player from the Netherlands, and then we have a set of twins from New Zealand. They're each making a half-hour presentation on their country and about their culture and their heritage and things like that, just so that we can learn and just, I don't know, just to me, like we always want to create that kind of environment where we're sharing each other's backgrounds and stuff like that, because that's how you grow as a person. And so yeah, we've been pretty creative with it. It's still a little tricky, but we're just trying to make the most of it. So much of this is out of our control. We're not going to sit around and feel sorry for ourselves. So, we just got to make the most of it and enjoy it and be positive and wait for that moment where we can get back together and do the things that we want to do the way we want to do them. Yeah, we've been through a couple. That's an understatement. Yeah. We've I think I've been coaching 9 years at CM, and we've been to the national tournament 7 times. My very first year was the last year of one division, and we went in as the 16 seed, and against number one Rochester College out of Michigan, and we scored the first 4 points of the game. And me, as a naive young, relatively stupid college coach, I thought they called the timeout, and I was, hey, see, I told you guys we could do this. And then Rochester went on to score the next 28 points and beat us, as they should, in a 1 versus 16 matchup. So that moment for me was a defining moment, because I looked at our coaching staff and our athletic director and said, I want that. I want what they have. I know we're not going to have scholarships like they do, and things like that, but I want to build something just like that, because that is better than 75% of all of the college basketball teams at the non D1 level, and I was like, I want to build that in Maine at CM, where it would be even a bigger deal, because we're only a 2-year school. So every year we've kind of made strides in becoming that, and going beyond that, I think now. And so we're at a really good place. But that's the very first lesson the USCA national tournament taught me. And then obviously winning the national championship in 2017 was a defining moment for our program. It was a very emotional moment for all of us. We had lost the national championship game in 2014 after leading at halftime. And I just remember, as soon as the game was over and all the hoopla kind of had died down, we got out of the locker room and we're kind of just soaking it in still. And all the messages from all the alumni and all they were videoing themselves watching the game, hysterically crying in their living rooms with their families and stuff like that. That was it. I don't even know how to, it was just like a affirmation kind of situation for us. Like, it's just like, all right, you know what? Like, we've done it the right way, and we're continuing to do it the right way. And that would just be, that whole night will be a moment that I hope I never forget. And then in 2019, when we won the national championship again, that was in some ways more memorable, because there's I think it's not easy to get to the top, but it's easier to get to the top than it is to stay at the top. And when we won in 2019, that was our third straight national championship game appearance. And that just legitimized everything, everything about us, everything about our program, everything about our school, everything about 2-year versus 4-year, all that stuff. There's so much that went into it. I just feel like it was just, I don't know, it was an amazing experience, and it really helped us legitimize our entire program. Outside of coaching, well, I have a 3.5-year-old now, and a 6-month-old. So that that certainly eats up a lot of time, and that's been so much fun. That's drastically changed me as a person and as a coach. So that's been extremely rewarding and fun and stressful and all kinds of craziness, which has been great. I try to golf. I love golf. I'm absolutely terrible at it, but it's the only thing that I do where I'm not thinking about anything else, and I'm not worried about whatever. It's just me in that moment. So that's why I really love the game of golf. It is, I think, one of very few things in the world that you can't blame anyone else for. It is all about self accountability. And so it is a hobby of mine. It's something that I have a passion for. I wish I could do it more. But yeah, being a dad and of two young children and a husband doesn't necessarily allow me to do that sometimes. And being so involved, not just not just with basketball at the college, but I work full time in another position at the college. It's just extremely busy.